Welcome back, guys, and in this series of JavaScript nuts and bolts, I want to share why it is safer writing your code with the const and the let keyword. I know in previous series we have looked on the disadvantages of var keyword and on the advantages of the let keyword, but on this video I want to share specifically why you should always write your code with let and const keyword, or rather what is the best preference of using the let and the const keyword. So without further ado, let us dive in and see this in action. So I'm at the console here, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to create two variables. So many a times when you have a variable which is mutable, or rather in simple terms which will change, it is good that you declare a variable with the let keyword. Let us say a good example will be something like a price of an item. So let us say you have an item that is priced 250 shillings, right? And maybe afterwards, this price will change. Then this would be a good example to use the let keyword. So anytime you want to change, maybe later, let us say your price changes to something like 300, right? Down here, if I console log price. So this is a good example of where let keyword should be used. Anytime when you're planning to change your variable's value, or rather reinitializing your variable, then that will be a good example, a good scenario to use the let keyword. But anytime you are using, or rather you are planning not to change or to reinitialize the value of your variable, then that become a good scenario to use the const keyword. In our case here, let us say this price is fixed 250. And so when I try to do something like this should throw an error because const does not allow you to assign, or rather to initialize your variable. So you see it throws an error and says identify a price has already been declared. This is because I'm using the const keyword. For example, const can be used in things like let us say you have defined the pi, the pi value. Maybe you're writing an example of a math program, right? And you're defining pi. That might be a good example to use the const keyword. Now, guys, let me say that this is not the same case when you use the const keyword on object. Object behaves somehow different when you use the const keyword. And here is what I mean. So if I say const, and then I call, say, sum, then I create an object for this variable sum. Let me pass a name. And for this name, let us give it the value of Kevin, like so, and then comma, age. And for this age, let us give it a value of, let us say 25. For now, what I've done simply is that I've created an object with a const keyword. So this is the reference of the object, and this is the object itself. Yeah. So if I'm trying to do something like this, if I just say sum dot age equals to 29, then down here I console dot log our value sum here. You see something strange, and this is because by default the object has not been set to an immutable value. That is what happens itself. This reference become immutable, but the object itself does not become immutable. And so you see right here that our age of the object has changed, yet we have set this value to be const. So how do you avoid this if you want to make your object to be an immutable value? So the way you do this is by using this value here. You just pass this method by the name freeze, which is an object method. So you just put object dot freeze, right? Freeze, and then you pass your object inside this function. What this function does is that it makes your object be an immutable object. Hence, it becomes more solid. Someone cannot do something like this. So here I expect an error when I try to do this. So when I try this should throw an error since I've used freeze. Freeze makes your object to be more immutable, and hence you cannot be able to change the internals of the object. So guys, anytime you want to make your object const, try using freeze rather than just using the const on the object reference itself. So if I run this now, see the object remains the same. Yeah, the initial value, which is 25, and the name is Kevin. But if I remove this object.freeze, the object is able to be changed. Guys, that is how you use const when you want to prevent initialization or reinitialization on your object. Then that is how you'll apply on object. But generally, as we are going to see in our later series, is that use const as much as possible. Use const as much as possible. But if that is not possible, then you can use let. But as we're going to see, we'll find that const has very, very many advantages that makes your code to be more readable, more easy to structure, more easy to. So guys, that is what I wanted to share with you in this video, that always when using variables that will change, use let, but when using variables that will remain constant, use const. And if you like this video, leave a like, leave a comment, please share, and until we meet again,